there's just a weekend between now and the Air Force One landing in Ahmedabad, and for a major Modi Trump's repeat of the Modi Trump spectacle in India, the Indian version of the Howdy Modi event in Houston. But beyond the optics, what is really relevant? What is the substance of this entire visit? It's a very short and sweet visit by the U.S. president, a president who, by his own admission, is more worried about keeping America first, and therefore has a lot of emphasis. He's a businessman, and therefore has a lot of emphasis on trade rather than any strategic interest. Take second precedence really for the gentleman. But I'm joined by Shishir Gupta, the executive editor with Hindustan Times. Shishir, what do you believe will be, there's been a lot of back and forth as far as trade is concerned and Trump is concerned. As far as India is concerned, Trump has been said there's no defense deal. Then he said we're going to talk. There's no big trade deal, and then he says no, we're going to talk trade in this summit. What exactly do you think is going on in his mind right now? And is there any trade deal on the cards? Yes or no?
See, the fact is that this is the highest level summit in the sense that two the top leaders are meeting. So I cannot say the last word on it to say that there is going to be no trade deal, but I can definitely say that the chances of a trade deal are very, very minimum. Right. In fact, minuscule.
Yeah.
Why I say this is because, first of all, the US Trade Representative, Robert Lighthizer, is not coming with President Trump. Now, when Robert Lighthizer is not coming, Robert Lighthizer is the man who's been negotiating with our Commerce Minister, Piyush Goyal. Wilbur Ross, who's the Commerce Secretary, he's coming with Trump. He's already been there in India 4 times this year. But the fact remains is the principal negotiator actually is Robert Lighthizer, who's a hardline. Now, just as Trump is a die-hard businessman, Prime Minister Modi is also a never say die Gujarati. So what's going to actually happen is that the two will play, but both will play for their own countries. And that is why what has happened right now is India has made an offer. It's made an offer that, listen, this is what we are willing to do. Now it is for them to respond that back. So they came back to say, my understanding is that they were not very happy with certain things, to which we said we'll discuss. So as of now, its ball is still in play. But Lighthizer is not coming. That's one negative. Second thing is the deal is not looking that way. But again, as I say, it's President Trump who's meeting Prime Minister Modi. Anything can happen.
Right. Both of them are independent people with their own minds and really the last words in their respective domains. But what I do want to ask about is the defense deals, because there's the defense cooperation between India and the United States has really grown by leaps and bounds over the last decade or so. Started with George W. Bush's administration, yes, and has continued with the Obama administration and now with Trump. A lot of defense. What are the defense imperatives or deals which are on the table right now, and which of them are we looking to close?
You see, what's happening is that even before President Trump lands up, day before yesterday, the Modi government cleared $3.5 billion worth of equipment from US. This includes 24 Sikorsky MH-60R multimodal helicopters for the Navy and 6 Apache attack helicopters for the Indian Army. Now, this is a huge deal again because we've already bought Apache and we were looking for a replacement for the naval helicopters, and this is the first thing that we bought from the Americans. After this, what is happening is, actually, if you look at it, the relationship is so very cozy that you're looking at 8 Poseidon multi-mission aircraft from Boeing. You're looking at engines which are now actually used for our next air defense ship, Vikrant. They are the American engines. You are looking for engines of a heavier version of Tejas, again American engines, G414. So there is sky is the limit as far as the defense deal goes. And then, of course, what has happened is that before he comes in, the Congress has cleared the national missile system for Delhi, which is a full-fledged, full-spectrum uh, surface-to-air missile system for Delhi.
Okay, so that of course shows that there's a lot of potential going forward also as far as the India and the United States relationship is concerned. But there is also the specter of China and the specter of Pakistan, which casts a shadow on this particular relationship with the United States. Obviously, as far as China is concerned, the interests of United States and India converge because the United States has been viewing India as a sort of a counter to China over the last decade or so in the Asia Pacific region. How do you see this relationship going forward? In the businessman Trump, is he? Do you see him looking at India in the straight? The noises that he's been making on trade, for him that is taking precedence over the strategic affairs. How do you think the image of India or the usefulness of India as a strategic counter to China has changed under Trump?
See, there are two parts to your
If it has
question.
changed at all, yeah.
When you say that, trade is something which is pushing India. Even when he went for the G20 in Japan, he tweeted before he even came in for the meeting against India on
Right,
trade.
right.
So this is a part of a play. So let's dismiss that out. As far as coming as counter to China goes, India is counter to nobody. India plays on its own turf. It decides on its own merits, and it engages on its own merit. Now, as far as China goes, yes, China is an adversary. We have an unsettled border, which is about 3,088 kilometers. But the point over here is that we are more than capable of engaging China. When and how do we do it? Now, as far as India goes, what we are looking at is we are first trying to dominate the Indian Ocean region. First, we do that, the first step, and the second step is the Indo-Pacific.
Right.
When we go into Indo-Pacific, that is time when we actually converge with the Americans, with the Japanese, with all our allies, so to speak. So there is a plan, there is a method, and there is a strategic partnership in this. For instance, like when I said that we were buying these Poseidon P8I aircraft, multi-mission aircraft. These aircrafts are available with Japan, they are available with Australia, they are available with all the partners. These aircrafts, because we also have signed the SISMO agreement, that is communication agreement, these aircrafts talk to each other. So when they talk to each other, we know what is the battlefield theater, what is the theater. So everything becomes transparent. What's happening in South China Sea, what's happening in Indian Ocean, what's happening in Diego Garcia, what's happening in Gulf of Eden.
Correct.
So it's that is the broad picture that we get. But as far as India-US relationship goes, it's a very close relationship. It's a relationship which has gone beyond this Pakistan business, because if you look at previous presidents, they used to come to Pakistan, then there used to be
visit
Kashmir,
India, absolutely.
so all this is gone. Here he is coming in for a standalone visit. Here there is nothing in Kashmir. The only thing that is worrying is right now is they have actually done a deal with Taliban. Now, how does that play out during the
Yes, because
when
it
the
empowers
discussion?
Pakistan, right? The deal with Taliban.
Yes, it does that. It not empowers Pakistan. It makes Pakistan again the same nuisance that it is.
Right.
Okay, so the point is, what we have been saying is that why only negotiate with Taliban? Negotiate with everybody who's an Afghani. We are for all inclusive dialogue. We are not only for Taliban. Now here they have gone for Taliban because Taliban is the strongest insurgent group.
Right.
But in this insurgent group, the entire shura of Taliban is based in Quetta. So again, Pakistan gets that leverage out of it.
Right.
Okay, once that gets that leverage out, the things become again a little bit dicey and it becomes a messy affair. But to say that the relationship is absolutely perfect.
All right. Are you expecting any big announcements as far as defense deals and cooperation or terrorism is concerned?
See, there will be obviously a discussion on terrorism. Terrorism will obviously feature in the joint statement. Defense will also feature in the joint statement, but I don't think so defense deals are going to take place, so to speak. The only thing is terrorism is going to be discussed. They are both going to be vocal about terrorism because they are both very clear that they are totally opposed to terrorism all throughout. And there's a whole lot of discussion to take place. There is a discussion on China, there's a discussion on Middle East, there's a discussion on Russia, there is a discussion, so the entire global perspective is going to come into it. Then the economy part of it also. And then trade will be discussed. The thing is that how the two actually, join again, with each other. and at what is the stake involved, that has to be decided as to who, how much you give, how much you take.
Right.
And for that, you have the two biggest businessmen.
Thank you, Shishir, for unpacking this visit as far as the defense cooperation and as far as engagement on a strategic level is concerned between India and the United States. We'll keep coming back to you with more. Keep watching HindustanTimes.com.